Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We continue again with exercise 2.7 on the topic compound interest. We are now under number G, H, I, and J as a group or batch of questions. Then after I will do other questions which seem to be a little bit independent from each other. Up to alphabet R, if I'm not mistaken, P, Q, R. And most of them are very independent from each other. But I will see how I will deal with them also. Now it says a sum of money is invested. Remember, a sum of money is a sum of money, and we don't know how much is that sum of money until we calculate it. A sum of money is invested at a certain rate of annual interest, compounded monthly. Take note, compounded, how often it is compounded monthly. And the minute it is compounded monthly, that means we are speaking of the nominal rate of interest. That means they used a monthly nominal rate of interest to compound the interest on the investment that was made. Then we don't know how much is this nominal rate, which is monthly compound. But we are told that amounts to 10,000. We don't know the amount that was invested. It is X. But we know that such amount of money amounts to 10,000 at the end of month 13. So the amount of money which we don't know was invested for 13 months and amounted to 10,354 and 18 cents. Then after we are told that and 10,895 rand 1 cents at the end of month 20. So after 13 months it was 10,000, and after 20 months it was 10,895.01. So now let me just draw a timeline for clarity of what I want to explain to you. Or let me use the very big picture where we'll see it very clearly. Now we have this timeline where an amount of money was invested for a period of 20 months. And this is X amount of money. On month number 13, it was 10,354 rand, 10,354 and 18 cents. Then on month 20, it amounted to 10,895 rand 1 cents. 95 rand 1 cents after 20 months. We know that from month 14 to month 20, that will be 20 minus 13. That means for the second time our N was 7. Our N is 7. Our N is equal to 13. Our I is a question mark. And also our I here is still a question mark. So we are looking for I. Remember, when I'm saying I in this case, I'm referring to I that is compounded monthly, which is the nominal rate of interest. Remember once again that the effective rate of interest is the rate that is per annum, not compounded, the annual rate of interest. So in other words, we do have the future value here. If I can clarify that one now, we do have a future value, and we do have a present value, and we do have our N as 7. In the first part, we don't know the present value, which is a question mark, and our interest is a question mark, and our N, we do have our N. Then we do have this as the future value. And please note that this is the future value, and at the same time it is the present value. From the initial investment, this is the future value. From the initial investment of 10,354, where it is invested for the next 7 months, then this is the present value, then becomes the future value. So there comes a time again where the future value becomes the present value. Then after we increase that to become the future value once again. And I do explain this in the latter questions on the present value and the future value of an annuity. You will meet with it very, very much. Now, we are then now have to look at what we are required to do. We are required to compute the effective rate of interest. Remember, the effective rate of interest, it is the annual rate, not compounded monthly, not compounded quarterly, not compounded 3 monthly, not compounded 4 monthly, not compounded 6 monthly, but the annual rate of interest. And whenever you calculate the effective rate of interest, your N must be equal to in years, or your N must be in years. The minute your N is in years, then automatically when you say compute I, which is the interest, it will then be the interest for the year. So now because we have one unknown in the second part of this timeline, starting from here going there, we do have the present value, we do have the future value, present value, and then we can calculate our I, our I being the effective rate of interest, not the nominal rate of interest. Get me on that one very clearly. Now we do number G. I think that is number G. Yes, it is number G, effective rate of interest. We say plus minus 10,354 and 18 cents is our present value. Then our future value is equal to 10,895 rand 1 cents. Then we say our N is 7 divided by 12. And once again, I said to you, the minute you say number of months over the investment period, divide by 12, you get your N in years, meaning any months that you divide by 12, you get your number in years. Then what do? We compute our interest. Again, our N period must be equal to our I period. So because our N is in years, therefore our I that we calculate will also be in years. So let us do that. We say plus minus 10,354 and 18 cents is our present value. 10,895 rand 1 cent, it is the future value. 7 divided by 12 is our N. Then we compute our interest. Now our interest is per annum, which is 9.120451185% per annum. We don't have to multiply, we don't have to divide, because our N is in years, is the number of years. Our N is in years. Why? Because we took the number of months, which is the 7 month, from month 14 up until month 20. We divided this by 12, then it gave us our N in years. So when we compute interest, it will be the interest in years being the effective rate of interest. And once again, remember that the effective rate of interest is not the one that was used to compute the future values or to earn interest, because we need the nominal rate of interest in order for us to get to this 10,354. And we use the nominal rate of interest in order to get to 10,895 rand 1 cent, which is compounded monthly. Take note of that. We need the one that is compounded monthly in order for us to get these figures, because this the interest in these amounts was compounded monthly. So the effective rate which we calculated is not the rate that was used to calculate these future values. We are just answering what we are required to answer. And I don't think we'll use the effective rate again. I think it was just for the sake of the requirement. I'm just saying that so far. I don't know what is next. Now let's go to the next requirement. Next requirement, we are to compute the initial amount that was invested. Now the initial amount that was invested is how much? It is the X amount that we don't know. But we know that this is the future value. So we do have the future value, and we do have our N as 13, and we what else do we have? We don't have our interest, which is the effective rate of, which is the nominal rate of interest. We don't have the nominal rate of interest. That means once again now we need to use this period where we have at least three of the elements: the present value, the future value, and our N, to calculate our nominal rate of interest. We need to calculate nominal rate of interest, which is the rate that is compounded monthly. We need the rate that is compounded monthly. This is the rate that we're looking for. The one that was used to calculate 10,354 and the one that was used to calculate 10,895. That is the nominal rate. The rate that is compounded monthly, 2 monthly, 3 monthly, 4 monthly, or 6 monthly. So that's the rate that we are looking for. Now we are under number H, looking for the nominal rate of interest. We are looking for the nominal rate of interest. And in this question, they gave us hint, but I just decided to remove the hint. We are looking for the nominal rate of interest. Now we still say plus minus 10,310.54 and 18 cents is our present value. This is our present value. Our future value, it is 10,895 rand 1 cent. That is our future value. Our N is 7. Remember, when you say 7, we don't divide, because you want to know how many times was this interest compounded. It was compounded 7 times. Every month of the 7 month, from month 14 up until month 20, that was 7 times. So our N is now is per month. I want to highlight that our N is per month, meaning our N is per compounding period, because we are compounding monthly. So now that means when you say compute I, our I will be per month. Why? Because our N is also per month. 7 months, meaning we are indicating that it was compounded for every month for 7 months, from month 14 up until month 20. Now, if our I is per month, then we need to say how many times do we have, how many months do we have in 12 months? That will be 12 times. So hence we multiply here by 12. It goes back to the first question where we had 1.58333333%, which was per 2 months. In this case, it's per month. And if you remember, in that one where it was per 2 months, we multiplied by 6 because there were 6 2 months in a year. But in this case, there are 12 months in a year because of compounding monthly. So now let's go on that same note, calculating the nominal rate of interest. We say plus minus 10,354 and 18 cents is the present value. Then 10,895 rand 01 cents future value. Then 7 is our N. We compute interest. If you look at the interest is how much? The interest is 0. And please don't put this multiplier because I've not multiplied yet, but I will multiply by 12. 0.7300002814 per month. This is the interest per month. So we multiply this by 12. Then after it will give us interest for the year compounded monthly. 8.7600337771% per annum compounded monthly. Compounded monthly. So this one is per annum but compounded monthly. But how much is it for every month? Every month, this is the interest that we are earning, which is per month. Per month. That is the interest that we are earning every month. Per month, this is how much we're earning. So if you add this 0.73, if you add them 12 times, then they will give you 8.76, meaning now for the full year, then it's 8.76 for the full year, per annum, but compounded monthly. That's what it means to say per annum compounded monthly, or per annum compounded quarterly, or per annum compounded 6 monthly. It depends. But in this case, it's per annum compounded monthly. Previous one was per annum compounded 2 monthly, the first question. Now that we do have the nominal rate, which is 8.76% per annum compounded monthly, then we can use this rate to calculate our amount that was initially invested. We can calculate the amount that was initially invested. Now let's go to the amount that was initially invested. Then you say plus minus 10,354 and 18 cents is our present value. Then we say our n in this case is equal to 13. Now, if we say 13, do we divide or do we multiply? In fact, do we divide or not? If yes, by what? We can't divide by 12. We can divide, we don't divide by 12 because it is compounded monthly. So we say how many times will the interest be compounded over the period of 13 months? It will be 13 months. So meaning it will be 13 times. So n is 13. Then after our I, now we need our I, which is 8.76 divided by 12. 8.76 divided by 12. Remember, if we divide this by 12, what do we get? We get 0.73 per month. Do you see now? Meaning our interest is now per month, meaning this one is per month. This one is per month. Then if it's per month and the amount was invested for 30 months, then that means it will be, and our n will be 13 months. Remember, once again, now we are calculating the present value, the amount that was initially invested. In other words, we have the future value, we have our n, and we have our I as 8.76%. Then we are looking for the present value. Let me check if I did not say present value. This is the future value, yes. I'm just noting it now. This is the future value. We are looking for the present value, the initial amount that was invested for 13 months. How much was initially invested? That increased up to 10,354. That is where we are now. So with that, we can now continue on that same note. Then we say compute the present value, the amount that was initially invested. Then we say plus minus 10,354 and 18 cents is the future value. 13 is our n. 8.76 is our interest. We compute the present value. Let me just do a verification of that. We have 10,354.18. That is our future value. Then we have 13, which is our n. We have 8.76. 8.76 divided by 12. That's our I. We say compute present value. Yes, our present value is 9,419 rand 99 cents. That should be 420. We can round off there to 420. Otherwise, it is 9,419 rand 99 cents. And it is 99 and there's another 9. So hence I'm rounding it off to 9,420. So this is the amount that was initially invested, which is the present value at the beginning of the period. We have 9,420 that was invested at 8.76% per annum compounded monthly for 13 months. Then it amounted to 10,354 rand 18 cents. Now that was requirement number H. Then we go to I. Then after the last one will be J. It says compute the interest earned by the investment at the end of month 24. Take note, at the end of month 24, not for the period. If you remember in one of the previous questions, they said we need to compute interest that was earned over the period. And previously they said for the month. Now, in other words, this question is bringing us back again. The interest earned at the end of month 18 is exactly the same question that we are in now. Then because of that, we have two alternatives, and I have my own way of doing this, which is I think is more simpler. If you want, you can take this one, month 20, then it will be 21, 22, 23. So that to calculate the interest only for month 24, because we need interest only for month 24. So we need to know the balance at the end of month 23 in order for us to calculate interest for end of month 24. We need the balance at the end of month 23. So now if we need the balance at the end of month 23, we can take this balance and calculate it for month 21, 22, 23, which is 3 months only. Then after, we will calculate interest for that 1 month, or else you can take 9,420 and calculate, and your N will be 23. The choice is yours. But I prefer to use the short one, which is this one. At the end of the day, it should be giving us the same figures. So we are doing now number H or number I. Yes, we are doing now number I. Number I. Then in doing number I decide to say my plus minus present value is 10,895 rand 1 cent is my present value. My N is 3, which is 21, 22, 23. And my I is equal to 8.76 divided by 12. Then I compute my future value, which is future value at the end of month 23. Remember, I said to you, if you want, you can say plus minus 9,420 is your present value. Your N is 23, and your I has not changed, 8.76 divided by 12. You still compute the same future value. That should give you the same amount. Now let me just verify that. We start by saying 10,354.01 as my present value. 3 is my N. 8.76 divided by 12 is my I. Compute future value. I have 10,000. Let me just verify that. We have 10,810 10,810 95.01 is my PV. 3 is N. 8.75 divided by 12 is I. Compute future value. Yes, it is 11,135 rand 36 cents. Let me then check the second one. If we start from the beginning, 9,420 plus minus present value, 23 is N, 8.76 divided by 12 is I, compute future value. I get 11,135 rand 36 cents. So either way, you choose the one after end of month 20, just say 21, 22, 23, which is N being 3. Or you start from the beginning. At the end of the day, you get to the same figure or to the same number. Then after we have our balance, we need now to calculate our interest only for 1 month. So remember again, we can use the interest per month. And our interest per month, there it is 0.73002814. In other words, we can just say 11,135 rand 36 cents times by 0.732814 divided by 100. This should give you the interest that is earned for the period. Let me just do 11,135.36 times 0.732814. I think it's 2814, not 28. Yes, 2814. 2814. 2814 equals divide by 100. I get 81 rand 29 cents. Remember, I use the interest per month. I use the interest per month that we calculated previously. Now, if I don't use the interest per month, I can say 11,135.36 times 0.0876, which is our interest for the year compounded monthly, then times by 1/12. So if we do that, let us check if we get to the same figures. Check if we get to the same figures. We have 11,135.36 times by 0.0876 times 1 divided by 12. We still get to the same amount, 81 rand 29 cents. So once again, either way you use or either way you do, that will not matter. That is the second last question from this batch of questions up to J. Number J says, what is the last number of month that the money must be left? What is the last number of month? That means we are the least number of month. That means we are looking for the number of month, which is our N. What is the least number of month that money must be left in the account in order to earn a total of at least 1,000 in interest? Hint, initial amount invested plus interest is equal to plus minus future value. They already telling us that the initial amount that was invested is 9,420 plus 1,000, which is the interest they want to earn. This will give us the future value, because you know amount invested plus interest is equal to future value. So now we have the present value, which is the amount that was invested. So in other words, we are doing J. We say plus minus 9,420 is the present value, and our future value is the sum of the interest and the initial amount invested. 9,420 plus 9,420 plus 1,000, meaning this will be 10,420. Then our interest has not changed. Remember, our interest, it is still that 8.76. Our interest is still 8.76, the one that is compounded monthly. Divide by 12. So now we say compute our n. We compute our n. Then after we compute our n, then that will give us the answer from the calculator. We have 9,420 as our present value. Then we have 10,420 as our future value. 8.76 divided by 12 is our I. We compute our n. Then in the computation of our n, we find out that this will be 13.87119958, which is equivalent to 14 months, meaning n will be 14. Then the question was, how long must this be left in the account for it to earn interest of 1,000? And he said the least number of months that the money must be left in the account for it to earn a total of at least 1,000 in interest. Then we dealt with that. We calculated that it should stay 14 months so that it can amount to an interest of 1,000. Then total will be 10,420. With that, guys, you've been wonderful once again. Thank you very much. Don't forget to study and study and study. Now the next one will be number K. Then we continue with the next batch, L up to M. Thank you once again.